Hi and welcome to our video on what's new in version 1.1 of the PRMS software. The first thing you probably notice is that there is another button that has been added up here. It's the Go to Herbal Formulas button, or if you prefer, go to whatever type of script you write out. But for all intent and purposes, I've called it something, and it's herbal formulas at this particular point in time. So by clicking on that button, you now get taken to all the scripts that you've written out so far, and you can view them, and obviously you can scroll through them. As you can see, most of these are blank because this is a sample database and I haven't filled them all in. So that's the first thing, the Go to Herbal Formulas. You didn't have that in version 1.0, and I thought that would be a good addition to just be able to go through and click on that, and then you can do a find command. So if you wanted to find out all of Stan's scripts that you've written, you can easily do so by creating a find command and typing either his full name in there or putting in his patient ID number here. So that's simple enough. The other thing is this button, whilst not new, does lead you to a new section in the software. So if you have a patient to whom you've already issued a treatment program to, but you would like to add a new program because the patient has come back at a later time, or the patient is presenting to you a year or two later with a new condition, you can either create a new record for the patient and then do what you just did here by going to treatment program, or if you choose to do what I do, and that is to just add to the old original record of the patient, then you can issue a new treatment program, and here it brings the initial diagnosis, the original initial diagnosis forward, and you can add new information, new directions, new aims, new review periods, etc. to the new program. You can close this, and let's say you have done 2 or 3 for, maybe it's an insurance case where every so many treatments you have to provide a new treatment program. Some insurance companies will accept this, others won't. So if you have an insurance company that does accept your treatment program layout, then you can view all of them here, and you can send each new one to the insurance company. This will depend on who you're dealing with, what country you're in, etc., etc. I just thought it would be useful to be able to make more than one treatment program per patient, and that's how we got around it. The next thing, which is probably the biggest change, is that you now no longer have a little triangle on the side of these 3 fields, but instead you have a plus button. So let me show you what that actually does. So we'll start with the consulting physician, and we click on the plus sign. This will open now a dialog box where you add yourself into the dialog box. So you just type your name in here, and that's all you have to do. You can then just close that, click outside the field, and now it's had a chance to load, and so you can now use that drop down box and select yourself from the list. Obviously you can add more people to it. So if you and somebody else shares the database, then you can add as many practitioners here as you need. So that's that one. The next one is the clinic names. So as you probably remember from version 1.0, we used to have a clinic name 1, clinic name 2, clinic name 3, and then we had a drop down at the bottom of the drop down box. It had edit. Now the way you do that is, again, you click on the plus button, and again you get this dialog box, and you can simply add the new clinic name in here. Let's call it Hilltop Clinic, just as an example. This red cross here, or this red button, actually allows you to delete any clinics that you no longer wish to have listed in your database, but you probably don't want to delete that because that means you won't know which patient came to see you at which clinic. So again, you have an unlimited number of fields available to you, so you don't need to worry about space, so you can add as many as you want. Now, the next one is probably the most important one, and the one that has changed the most, and that's to do with the health funds. So let's click on health funds. The first thing you will see in this box is that already health funds have been listed. Now, if you remember from version 1.0, the health funds were listed initially by country and then alphabetically. Now, in this dialog box, that is still the case, except that you don't have a heading saying Australian Health Funds. So all you need to do is basically the first lot is Australian Health Funds, and then you have New Zealand Health Funds, Canadian Health Funds, etc. However, the important thing about this is that here you can add your providership numbers. You weren't really able to do that before, so what we've done is we've allowed you to provide a one-time entry of your providership numbers. So let's pick Bupa. You have to click on the looking glass, and you can see that the background of this is slightly blue now. So what you do is by doing that, you've selected this particular health fund. Now you add the provider. So you put in here your name, so that one's already there, and here you simply type the number in that relates to your providership number. So let's call it 111111, and just for this example we'll put A. Now this we said was you. Now the reason I put in A is because some of you have more than one modality that you may be able to issue receipts for, and the health fund or the patient can claim from the health fund, but it'll be a different providership number. So if you give somebody acupuncture, for example, then you have your providership number. If, however, you give somebody a remedial massage and they can claim your services as a remedial masseur, then you probably have a second providership number because it probably goes under a different category. So you simply add yourself again, so your name, and here you add the second providership number, M for massage, let's say. Okay, so that allows you down the track to pick and choose which providership number you have on your receipt. So you need to do this for each of the health funds that you regularly have patients for. You can either sit down for a couple of hours, an hour or so, and simply go through each one of these health funds that apply to you and wherever you live, and you can delete all the other health funds here if you want, or add new ones if you want. So you could use this button here to add a new health fund, and you can use this red cross here to delete any of the health funds you do not wish to keep in your database. So I hope that side of things is clear. Now I'll show you what the effect of that is. Okay, so we'll close this and we select Bupa here. Now in this drop down field all the health funds are listed in alphabetical order, irrespective of what country they are in. So if you're looking for Bupa, scroll down to Bupa or Bupa Australia and select it. Then you go to issue of a new invoice. So click on that, and what you see here now is all you have to do at this particular point in time is you just add the information as to whether it's a receipt or an invoice or a statement, or you can still change this drop down menu the old-fashioned way by clicking on edit. This one here also remains the same. You simply add either yourself in here, or maybe you have a staff member that can also issue receipts, and you can edit this as well. So if you wish to edit it, then you just click on edit and you can change anything that's written here. These little dashes basically provide the lines here, those grey faint lines, so that you can subdivide your drop down box. Here you simply add the date, and as you can see the health fund's already there, your name has already been put in there, and by default the first providership number in the list of providership numbers that you have entered in the previous process is now here. So when you click on this, you can see a drop down menu, and you can choose whether you've given this patient acupuncture or massage, and you continue to fill in the rest of the information as to what you're charging them for here. So we thought that that would be a really useful added benefit, because it's a bit of a pain to have to look up your providership number every time. I certainly can't remember all of mine, and I don't expect you would remember them either. So instead of you remembering them, we thought it's better if the database did. So that's those three buttons there. The other thing we've added is the patient emergency contact section. According to the Chinese Medicine Board of Australia, we now have to get emergency contact information from our patients, and this information can be filled in here. It's probably a good idea, and that's why we've put it in the first place. Apart from anything else, we've changed a couple of little things. For example, we finally got the spelling right for counselling under the psychology and counselling section here. We've changed a couple of other things that allows future updates to be much more simple than this one was. If you've already updated, you know what I'm talking about. In future, all you have to do is basically export, use this script here. So in future you go for prepare for upgrade, and that will create that folder I showed you in the previous video on how to upgrade. And then you open a new version, and the next thing you do is import from that previous version, and that's all you have to do. You don't have to change folder names, you don't have to create new folders. It'll just be a simple two-step exercise of exporting it and then importing it. So that took actually a lot more than we thought, but it's done and it'll work, and you'll find it much easier in future to update than you did this time. Basically, that is all the new stuff that we've added. I hope you'll find this useful, and I will see you in the next video. Thanks for listening. Bye for now.